So what I realized too, about you know, um, you know, that whole connection in terms of that attraction, that fatal attraction. That while there's something major, you know, there's something fantastic about the woman that repents, which is what obedience is. A lot of people, I don't know, think that you don't understand that a lot of people don't understand that life is not, and God is not about being perfect. You understand? In the sense that you make no mistakes. When Jesus says, "Be therefore perfect, as your Father in heaven is also perfect." I remember growing up in church, people would say, "Oh, I'll tell you," and it's people need to study God's word, and they'd be like, "I'll tell you, God doesn't make a mistake. Jam breaks. The definition of God is mistakes. Do you know how many times God repented? First example, and God repented that He made man. What He did? The flood. I don't know the tale, y'all. Read the Bible. You understand? They have this idea that God is just some, flawless, which is why I talk to Beyonce about this nonsense, right? Okay, um, wake up, post up, blah blah blah. Yeah, so God is what makes God so awesome is not His lack of, you know, mistakes, but His grace. And that is why grace is the hallmark saving thing of everyone. You have to be gracious. It is the only thing that can save you. So what I understood about you know, the relationship between Solomon and his spouse is that, it's like that thing about her that makes her special, is that thing that makes him different, because he chooses her, he calls her, he's like the one, she's like the one that he wants to spend most of his time with, period. And it's interesting because of course she's like, have you seen my love? And daughters don't wake my love up until, of course, interestingly enough, the relationship between Solomon and his spouse, his, number one, is that um she, you know, is paralleled with God in the sense that she is wisdom. Solomon is totally in love with wisdom all throughout, Um, and so, you know, um, it's definite. Wisdom is it, And I realized in my personal study that, wisdom is paralleled with the female. That is the one attribute of God. Because throughout the Bible, God is really called He and Father, But there's an aspect of godliness which is so intriguing, which is um, characterized by something feminine, which is what wisdom is in that sense. Does not understanding cry out, and wisdom put forth a voice? He crieth, in the street, saying, "Come, men, come to me, seek me." Solomon says, seek for her as buried, lost treasure and as silver and all of that. So there's that powerfulness about the wisdom thing, Yeah, and yeah. So it's joy. I love you, Kieran. I really do. You're so happy. I don't know, like, it's funny, you know. Yeah, I mean, It's interesting. So everything mm, about God has to be studied in depth, and that is why Timothy is saying, "Study to show yourself approved unto God." Someone who rightly divides the word of truth. And quite frankly, what I'm saying is that the thing about it that makes it you know definite that God is not proud is this, that He says knowledge, okay, puffs up, but love edifies. Okay. Now here I'm gonna say something very, very interesting. Note in Corinthians that God tells us, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not love, it profits me nothing. And though I have all faith that I can move mountains, I am nothing. This is an interesting thing. Hold on to your seatbelt. Knowledge puffs up, but love edifies. I said Beyonce has love, but Beyonce is a woman. Okay? So, her having love makes her like Santa Claus. Her having love makes her like this, that kind of man, right? Um, Not Solomon, Santa Claus. So here's the thing: is that God is like Solomon. God is like David. God is like Moses. Moses wrote the Pentateuch, of course. Moses is, the shiz. When, God told Moses, you're not going to be able to enter the promised land, in that way. It's all about grace. It's all about God is saying, yes, Moses, I glorified you, I made you great, but, this is how life is. No one gets a golden carpet. All this nonsense about you go to heaven and walk streets of gold and this nonsense. No, 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 no. Life is about a continuum. Life is about constantly giving and recycling. And all these people who think that they're going to go to heaven and just relax. Jesus says, I go to prepare a place for you. What is that place? Space. Okay. Okay. Let me explain that for you. Rest. What did Jesus say? Hello, hello, hello. He who shall not pick up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. Come unto me, all you who are weary, labor and are heavy laden, and I shall give you rest. Okay. Take my yoke upon you, learn of me. For I meek and lowly of heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Of course, rest, right? But this rest is something profound in that it is not about laziness. People think you just eat and get a big belly. No, 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 no. Because God is clearly saying you cannot serve God and mammon. God is clearly saying the kingdom of God is not meat and drink. Then how can the kingdom of heaven be gold and silver? That's not it. It is rest. When Jesus says a mansion, he means space, rest, air. Grenada is heaven. You all need to know that. Yeah, you all need to get it. So, the new earth, quite frankly. So yeah, and what I'm saying is that you know, that um, the interesting thing about it is that the person that um has love, the man that has love, is the opposite of the woman that has love. You, honey, are the man that has love. You, honey, are Solomon, Moses, Um, you are not Santa Claus. That's just dunceness. That's just dunce. Like I have a friend. I don't know what is wrong with her because her husband is quite frankly Santa Claus. That's just wrong. What is that? That's just dumb. Right? Um. So yeah. And The whole point is this, is that, the faith versus love thing. A woman that has faith is like a man that has love. Yeah. A woman that has love is like a man that has faith. And what it is that it's so important to remember that in many ways faith can become like knowledge unless it is crazy. Yeah. There's a movie called War Room, which I have to give some kudos because it has a lot of truths in it, Um with, starring Tony Evans's daughter, what's her name? Something, I'll tell you. Well, her name starts with P, I think. Priscilla Shira. She's married. She has 3 sons. Yeah, and she's acting with this other guy. Whatever his name is. I don't know his name. Anyway, storyline is that, she's working. He is probably has a better job than her. He cheats on her, and she prays to God, to restore their marriage. End of discussion. So that's a very profound concept. I really like that. I think that's why that movie did so well. I think it was #1 in the box office for quite a while in the US. It's tight. War Room. And I love the fact that she really gets down and talks about what prayer is about, which is something that I, really found and, actualized. So, the fact that you're supposed to have God's word in you. So when you go to God with your requests, you just dredge up, you just pull from your soul God's responses through his word. So in summation, as I said to you that, I was going to say something really interesting, that, the love thing, is God. And it's important to remember that the man and the woman are opposites. Someone once made the illustration of um, a socket and a plug, which is what is the whole thing of chemistry, where the woman is supposed to be first magnesium, then hydrogen, then chlorine, in that order. Yeah, honey. One in chemistry. Hey, hey, hey. So yeah, this is. So the woman is, the magnesium. Magnesium is the most ignitable. That's my word. The most ignitable. I don't know. Could be my word. Could be registered. Whatever. But you get my point. The most ignitable, naturally occurring element. Sodium is the most reactive metal. We know this. But the thing about magnesium is that it occurs all over, but it's not as flammable as sodium, but it's more abundant naturally. So you go to a cave, you find magnesium, and it's very easily, uh, it gives a spark really readily. And then hydrogen, of course, is the water element, hence the prefix hydro. Water itself comprises of 2 parts of hydrogen, H2O, and then of course chlorine, which is cleanliness. Chlorine, a woman is not a woman unless she's clean. I mean, what the hell? I'm not even gonna be, what's the word, scant, or I'm not even gonna be courteous when I say that. But I'm serious. So, and chlorine is like, the prime component of bleach, that you have to be clean, period. So yeah, hey,